Hey everybody, it's Patrick
And Sarah.
from the board Meeples, and today we're going to do a how to play of Seven Wonders.
Yeah, Seven Wonders is a 2 to 7 player game designed by Antoine Bauza and published by Repost Production, although it is better with 3 to 7 players.
I agree. And as always, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more board game content. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
If you're just starting out, it's recommended to play with 3 or more players, so we'll show you how to play a 3-player game in this video. The object of the game is to lead one of 7 great cities of the ancient world, and earn the most points from developing your wonder, winning military conflicts, earning treasure, and building civilian science and commercial type structures. Start by setting up the play area, which consists of separately setting up the 3 age decks. Remove from each deck all the cards that show a number higher than the number of players in the game. This is indicated on the bottom of the cards. Add into the Age 3 deck a number of guild cards, which will vary depending on how many players are in the game. Return the remaining Age cards and guild cards back to the box as they won't be used. Then shuffle each individual deck and set them to the side in 3 piles. Now you'll give each player 3 coins, and you'll shuffle and deal out a wonder card, face down, to each player. The wonder cards correspond to the 7 different wonder boards. The facing also determines the side of the board that the player will use, A or B. For the first few games, it's recommended to use side A because it is simpler. After you've played a few games, you're able to spin that card a few times before flipping it over to determine which side of the board you'll use. Each wonder produces its own unique resource, which is written on the top left. There are also 2 to 4 abilities that you will gain access to by building your wonder in the game. These are written on the bottom of the board. The name and side are written on the top right corner of the board. Coins and conflict tokens form a supply nearby, and the game's now ready to begin. 7 Wonders is played over 3 ages. At the beginning of each age, players will be dealt a hand of 7 cards from the corresponding age deck. There should be no cards left over in the deck. If there is, you may have left some cards in that are only available for games with more players. Players will then play out 6 turns each age, which consists of drafting a card face down from their hand. Using the card they drafted, all players will perform an action with the card at the exact same time and then pass their hand to the next player, receiving a new hand to start the process over again until the end of the age. The direction changes each age, but is written on the back of the age cards. Now, the cards in the ages represent different types of structures you can build into your city. There's 7 types, and they're indicated by the symbols and the colors of the card. Raw materials and manufactured goods produce different types of resources. Civilian structures score victory points. Scientific structures score victory points depending on a city's scientific progress. Commercial structures sometimes earn points. Coins produce resources or change commerce rules. Military structures increase military might, and guilds are only available in Age 3. They score points according to different criteria that's listed on the card. It's a little confusing, but it does become easier as you play the game. Let's now go over the 3 actions that players can perform with that card they drafted in the age. They can choose to build it into their city, they can choose to use it to build the stage of their wonder, or they can discard the card and collect 3 coins instead. Each structure has a name written on the lower left portion of the card. You can't have duplicate cards with the same name in your city. Sometimes there's a cost, which is shown on the top left of the card. However, some cards are free to play. They will show no cost at all. Or they may show a named card. If you have that named card in your city, this card will be free to play. In the lower right portion, sometimes there will be named cards listed, which are cards that you can play for free in later ages if you choose to build this structure into your city. If you have to pay the resource cost to build the structure, you must use the resources your city produces in order to build the structure. In addition, you can't use the same card twice, so if you need 2 wood and your city only produces 1 wood, you would be unable to build that structure. In situations like this, it's possible to trade the player directly to your left or directly to your right 2 coins for access to their resources if their brown or gray cards or their board produce that resource. Doing this allows you to build the structure and is known as commerce. Commerce can't be refused, and it doesn't prevent another player from using that resource to build their own structure in a turn. After you've built a structure, you will place it face up and stack the cards by type, while leaving their names and abilities shown. This way, you're able to see all the names and all the resources of the structures as the game progresses. Instead of building a structure, players can choose to use the card they drafted to build a stage of their wonder. Ignore all the text that's written on the front of the card and instead place it face down under the wonder board. You pay the cost that's listed on the wonder board instead. If there's an immediate effect, take the action written on that stage of the wonder. In our example, this is a victory point, but some have immediate effects. The stages must be built in order and can't be used more than once per game, but they can be built during any age, or ignored altogether. Lastly, a player can choose to forego building a structure or a stage of their wonder to instead discard the card that they drafted face down and gain 3 coins. On the 6th turn of an age, players will draft their final card from a hand of 2 cards and discard the other one face down. All players will take their final action at the same time as normal, and then that age ends. At the end of each age, each player will perform a conflict resolution between the player to their immediate left and the player to their immediate right. Each resolution consists of comparing the total number of shields from military structures, or if you have any on complete or wonder stages as well. The winning player will take a victory token, which is different depending on which age was just completed. The losing player will take a defeat token, and no token is taken by either player in the case of a tie. In the 2nd age, the victory token is 3 points. The 3rd age, the victory token is 5 points. The defeat token is always -1 point. After the military resolution, the next age will begin and end exactly as the previous age, with the game finally ending after the final conflict resolution of age 3. Players will use the scorecards provided to help in adding up all points. First, total up all points from military conflict tokens. Next, score 1 point for each 3 coins left over. Now add up all points awarded from constructed stages of a player's wonder. Tally up all points awarded from civilian structures. Add up any points awarded from commercial structures. In this example, we did not score any points, but some cards like this will score points. If you have any guilds or purple buildings, add up all points awarded from these structures. Next is scientific progress, which can be the most confusing to add up. There's a helpful chart on page 6, but let's also go over how scoring for these structures works. Each set of 3 different symbols scores 7 points. Then score points for each of the individual symbols. If you only have one of that symbol, you will score 1 point. Each pair scores 4 points. Each 3 of a kind scores 9 points. Each set of 4 identical symbols scores 16 points. So in our example, we would first score 9 points for the set of 3 identical symbols, 1 point for each of the individual symbols, and then another 7 points for the set of 3 different symbols, totaling 18 points for all of the scientific structures in play. Add up all the points on the score pad for each player, and the player with the most points wins. If there's a tie, then the player with the most coins will be the winner. There's additional rules of playing with 2 players that is outlined in further detail on page 7. The back of the rules and the rule reference sheet show a breakdown of different symbols on the cards and boards, and the front of the rule reference sheet has a good summary of the setup and rules of the game. So that's it. Let us know what you think of the game, or if we missed anything, by commenting down below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.